I think you're significantly damaging people, and especially you're leading people away from morality. Women are not sex objects. Women are created in the image of God. We are warned against our soul. Jesus Christ commands us to marry one woman. That's it.
Sure.
And what you were causing me to do was sin against myself, and that's the point I'm trying to get to.
But you got to take a little bit of accountability here and understand that you basically got a loaded gun and shot yourself in the foot, and you're trying
Correct.
to blame me for it.
Read your book, and it didn't work. That's all I was trying to do for you.
Well, actually, it did. You didn't notice it yet.
Okay.
You're not going to be. What's up, man?
Hey, can I bring this up a little bit? Is that okay? Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you remember me at all?
No.
Okay. So can I ask a quick synopsis of what you think the prescription is for society today for men? In a short version, what do you think they should do to be successful with women?
To be successful with women,
Yeah.
okay, are we talking about like getting a girl for a long-term relationship, just to get laid? What are we talking about?
Well,
here?
I think the only reason should be for a long-term relationship and marriage. I mean, that's Jesus Christ founded it, but I'm just curious what your prescription is.
Well, I've talked about this. I think guys have to have certain things in place, right, before they want to get into a long-term relationship. It's 5 things. So I would say $100K per year, 6 figures a year, 6 months to 1 year of savings, be in good shape, have at least 50 partners, right, sexual body count.
All right, and then is that the last one?
And then there's one more, but that's fine. You could go ahead and
Okay.
engage with what I've said so far.
So the reason I asked that is I've watched almost every single podcast you ever did for about a year and a half. So much so that I bought into a lot of the things that you said. And for about 2 years, it led me astray and significantly damaged my personal life, including relationships.
How did it lead you astray?
Well, you told me to go sleep with a bunch of women and date multiple women at the same time, which I did, and it significantly damaged my life. And it wasn't until I actually turned around and started listening to Jesus Christ that I was saved. Now I'm happily married. I have one child now with another one on the way, and I've never felt happier. But I felt...
Congratulations, that's good. That's really good.
Thank you. And I know you're not against that, but my concern is what you're saying to men leads them astray, because I'm a walking example of it. And I think you're significantly damaging people, and especially you're leading people away from morality. Women are not sex objects. Women are created in the image of God, and they are valuable. And they should be treated as such. Why should God give you one of his children if you don't even know how to treat them? So I think...
So a question for you. You said you got out there dating and meeting women and stuff like
Yep.
that. And then you said that it kind of hurt you.
Yeah.
How did it hurt you specifically? Did you like just start? What happened specifically?
Well, I started warring against my own flesh. It's like trying to fill an empty void. Mm-hmm. There's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that can only be filled by God alone. Anything else you try to fill with that's not going to satisfy it.
Sure.
And I tried to do it with sex.
That's his anecdotal experience, so he's still speaking from his own personal experience.
Yeah. So would it be fair? How'd you meet your wife?
We actually had the #1 dating podcast in North and South Carolina called Who Hurt You Podcast.
Okay.
And I'm also friends with Fresh. I know him very well. I texted him before I came here.
Yeah.
And I know pretty much everyone on your crew. But I was a heavy follower, and you actually inspired me to start the podcast, and I realized what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say that when you went through that experience, you were able to identify characteristics that you probably found as unredeemable and you probably wouldn't want to commit to, right?
In what way?
Well, when you were seeing these women, right, you probably started seeing patterns in how they behave, how they speak or whatever. Maybe they're not qualified to be a wife. Because the thing is, right?
Well, I don't need that. I have the Bible for that. It tells me what to look for.
Yeah, but the thing...
No, it doesn't 100%. Bro, you live in 2025. Please don't act like you just automatically gonna know when you read the Bible on what a wife exactly is supposed to do. Certain character traits, certain habits that they do. You still gotta meet people in the real world. Like when people overly do the whole religious part, you can't live in fantasy land all the time. You have to be grounded and you have to know what's in front of you. So him just saying that he looked into the Bible, I feel like he compensating for something.
Thing is that you were able, and again, you're probably not gonna notice it, but when you dated and dealt with all these women, you probably were able to identify characteristics that you were not fond of, or characteristics that would make a woman not a good candidate for a long-term relationship. And I think half the game is figuring out which girls don't qualify for marriage versus which ones that do. And clearly you learned a skill set on how to become attractive and get women, and then you're able to identify the things that you like versus the things that you don't like, and that only comes a lot of times with experience. Now look, if a guy can go ahead and, you know, find a woman as a virgin and be attractive and be able to understand how to navigate that, that's great in modern times. But the reality is a lot of guys don't. And I mean, even in your success story, you had to go through a lot of bad women to be able to identify your current wife as the one. So failures are good. They're good.
Yeah, failures, excuse me, failures in the sense of socioeconomic or maybe even relationship failures could be good, but there's a difference with what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're warned against our soul. Jesus Christ commands us to marry one woman. That's it.
Sure.
And what you were causing me to do was sin against myself, and that's the point I'm trying to get to.
I would say this dude is a real piece of shit. I'm not even gonna lie, because he trying to blame Myron that he caused him to sin against his flesh. Dude, you didn't know religion at the time. How you gonna blame him when you wasn't even in religion? You was taking advice from you should have been in the church from the get-go. But guess what? You still taking his advice led you to the church. So how are you able to blame him when he still got you to the place you at? Got you to the place you're at. But you don't take that into account. And men need to learn how to fail so they can understand how to win. If you never lose at anything, you won't understand what it means to win.
It's immoral.
Yeah, I mean, you got to
to
take personal responsibility, bro, because here's the reality.
No, I do, 100%.
Yeah, so
No, you
very
don't.
publicly, I have in
that's-
front of
and
over
that's why-
40,000 people. I've
yeah,
done that.
Yeah, great. But the point I'm trying to make is I teach guys a skill set, right? If I give you a gun and you shoot yourself in the foot, is that my fault? If I taught you how to properly use it, how to disarm it, disassemble it, you know, how to load the magazine in properly, all that. If I give you the skill set, then you shoot yourself in the foot,
That's on you.
right? Is that really my fault? No, I just arm you with the skill set. Then you choose what you want to do with it. Now, obviously,
Well,
you
no,
wanted to
it's
go on
predatory,
you wanted to
because men
go
are
toward
hurting.
a sex escapade, which is, I guess, fine. But the reality is, I armed you with the tools to become an attractive guy, and you utilize that. You can't come back and get mad
No,
and
you
say,
didn't arm me
"Oh,
with that. I became attractive when I followed Jesus. That was it.
oh,
This dude don't even understand. He said that it's predatory for guys to go out there and try and seek sex when you got women out there giving it to guys. You got women out there who are throwing it to certain particular level guys. So who's the predator at that point? If the woman is giving it up and she want to throw it out, she might be freaked out. You can't just blame it completely on the guys. Yes, you have guys that would like to have sex, but a lot of those guys ain't even getting it. They masturbating at home possibly. But for the women who out there throwing it away, how can you sit right here and say that guys are predatory? See, that's when you so wrapped up into religion and you feel like you're taking this this high and mighty role, like you're just a higher being. I'm living in my high self. You don't even understand what's really going on in the world. Women give the box up way more than dudes are giving dick up. So by you even saying that, bro, you contradicting yourself.
okay." Now it's changing the story.
No, I'm not changing any story. It's one thing to be
Ooh,
attractive
Saul.
in the sense of gaining sexual partners, but it's a completely different thing to be attractive to someone that wants to marry you and spend their life with you and have kids with you. Those are two completely different sexual attractions.
No, they both go in hand.
If I walk in here looking like Thor, I'm 6'2" and shredded, obviously I'm going to be attractive to women, but it doesn't mean that that's a relationship that produces value for me and my family.
And again, everyone is different, right? For you, it took some time, and you found God, and you shifted. But the reality is, I gave you the skill set, and then you choose what you want to do. That's up to you, and you made that decision, not me. I just taught you what to do,
exactly.
how to do it.
It's on me 100%. I'm not placing
Okay.
blame on you. But what I'm telling you, from someone
And
that
here's
listens
the other
to you,
thing,
I'm
too,
trying
that
to
you
let
gotta
know
understand.
what happens when you speak to people and tell them to do these things.
Here's the other thing, too. Like, now you're operating with 20/20 hindsight. You went through it. You experienced
Correct.
it. You
That's
know.
true.
A lot of guys need to get their hand burned sometimes to figure out how things work. Because let's be
Why?
honest, men are very stubborn.
Why do
So-
they need to do that? If they find a
It's just like a child. This dude's a loser.
God-fearing woman, they wouldn't do half the stuff you're talking about.
Well, here's the thing. Finding a God-fearing woman in today's day and age is a lot harder said than done, right? So
I did it,
yeah, it's a lot harder
and so
said
did
than
everyone
done.
in my whole family. So it's not that hard.
Yeah,
Anecdotal.
that's anecdotal from your perspective. But again, you learned a skill set. You were able to find a wife, and I'm happy about that. But you got to take a little bit of accountability here and understand that you basically got a loaded gun and shot yourself in the foot. And you're trying
Correct.
to blame me for it.
No, I'm not blaming you. Like I said, I take accountability.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there.
Okay.
But look, nothing against you. Like I said, I've hung out with Fresh 8 or 9 times recently. I love them, and I think your heart is in the right place. But I just wanted to give you from someone that actually listened to what you were saying to do, read your book, and it didn't work. That's all I was trying to do for you.
Well, actually, it did. You didn't notice it yet.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to identify your wife and have been able to find her and figure out what characteristics you like and don't like, right, unless you went through that.
My wisdom came from the Bible, not you. But I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, this dude is coping, man. He said his wisdom came from the Bible. Bro, if you had not gone through what Myron advised you to do, or if you just following what Myron advises the majority of the men's space to do, you wouldn't have got to this place to where you got so deep into religion and then you followed 100% into what I guess your heart led you to. So don't try and discredit what Myron told you. You went through, you might have did it the wrong way. Myron just don't tell you, just, hey man, just bust down any random 50. The ultimate thing what Myron is trying to tell you is you need to be somewhat desensitized of the attachment to women. And the only reason why he say that, because if you happen to get with maybe the wrong one and you fall head over heels, and let's say she start, doing you, causing you harm, emotionally, possibly physically, and it ends up hurting you in the long run, he's telling you to be able to walk away. You don't want to be stuck in that situation day in and day out trying to make her happy when she's just trying to ruin your life. And I think that's what the whole premise of him speaking of the 50 women comes from. It's not about you just trying to get your rocks off, because I'm going to be honest, if you ain't sleeping with 50 women, you're going to be probably busting 50 nuts in your bedroom, masturbating possibly. Most guys masturbate. So you busting nuts to these fake women online or magazine, whatever you watching, and then you got 50 women in the real world. What's the difference? I'll tell you what the big difference is. The difference is in the real world, you actually get to understand how these women traits and how they're going to operate, and whether they're going to be good or bad for you. When you're doing it behind the scenes, you learning no skills from doing that. You just waste a nut. You get no value out of that. But dealing with women, you actually get a skill set to actually understand how to acquire women, how to actually operate around them, and then the ones who don't fit your lifestyle, kick them to the curb. And then when you find you a good one, lock it down. Try and hold it down. And hopefully if you find you a good one, she should be trying to lock you down if you a good guy. Now, if you some bullshit, you shouldn't even be out there trying to sleep around and get with women and just try and play the field if you have nothing to offer to the market. If you're just a guy trying to just get bodies without adding no value, you're a loser. And you shouldn't be. You should be you should be in a position where if you are sleeping around, if you happen to get a girl pregnant, you want to take her serious, that you're capable of providing for the family that you're about to create. But if you out here just effing around and you can't provide for anybody, and then you happen to get a girl pregnant, now you about to create a broken home, a really, really broken system going on at that place. But this dude trying to blame Myron on his failures, that's sad. That's sad. You shouldn't have to do that as a guy. To go up on the platform right here to say that you telling me to sleep with all these women, I blame you for it. Bro, you went out there and put your dick in those women. You chose all those women. You could have chose the good one to sleep. You could have picked possibly that first one. She could have been the right one for you. But obviously the women that you were going through, they obviously were bad candidates. So that should speak something. And then you want to, like I said, then he wanted to bring religion into it. Everybody is not religious. Everybody is not religious. And I do believe that, having some morality or a moral code or religious format is beneficial for society. I'm not going to disagree with that. But at the same time, you got multiple religions within this society that we live in. And all of them kind of move a little different. Some say you can have more women. Some say you should only be with one. So this dude, I don't understand that, man. I would never blame someone for some advice that I took and I did it. It didn't affect my life on how I felt it was supposed to affect me or how it affected his life. And I expect to get a different outcome from someone give me advice that helped their life. But I understand the premise of it, where he's coming from. You see, a lot of these dudes, you could tell he's living in such a blanket or a cloud in reality to where he don't even understand what Myron is actually trying to teach guys. like I said, it's not about just busting 50 women, but if you busting 50 nuts in a bedroom behind closed doors, opposed to actually dealing with multiple in real life, you learn no value, you learn no skill, and you still lose at the end of the day. But this was crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie, Myron going out here on this college campus was pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie, y'all have to watch the whole thing in its entirety, because he debated a lot of characters up here, male and female. And the women were characters for sure, like the extreme feminists. They were, big characters. But a lot of the guys who were trying to fight Myron's point, you can kind of see the way, like, man, there were a lot of them just white knighting, really just trying to be, I'm behind women. But those same guys behind closed doors is probably masturbating, wishing they can be with the women that they're championing for, and those women don't even like them. They don't even find them attractive, but they're right there trying to defend them, and those girls are still looking at them like, I would never see. No, I don't like him at all. And he probably getting rejected across the board. Even the average of average, below average, still don't find that guy attractive. So let me know what y'all think about this, y'all. This is JayBReacts. Y'all like the video, comment below. Make sure y'all watch this whole segment in its entirety. And until next time, y'all, peace.